5 years ago we had a dream, we had a vision that rail leasing in Africa is real and it's a requirement. And 5 years later, I think we can proudly say that what we originally envisaged we did not only achieve, but we actually did better than we expected initially. So yes, the rail leasing market in Africa, there's a real demand and we have a real product to offer, and we've now proven that our product is accepted by the clients. And yeah, I think we're very proud of repeat business from the clients we managed to obtain originally, and then able to maintain our fleet to remain reliable and move freight daily on the corridor.
How is GPR Leasing structured?
GPR Leasing is a joint venture between Grindrod, which is a listed South African company, and Pimbani Remgro Infrastructure Fund, which is an Africa fund developed that's focused on African projects, infrastructure projects. So it was a perfect marriage of US dollar funding to acquire your locomotive fleet and your wagon fleet, and Grindrod being a freight logistics company with existing ports, transport, road transport, and ships, and the rail was a natural addition to the freight business.
So let's just have a quick history lesson. What is the starting point?
So the starting point was Grindrod acquired an OEM locomotive manufacturing business, and Grindrod obtained a concession in Zimbabwe to operate and run freight in Zimbabwe. So at the time, plus the OEM business started to receive a lot of requests for leasing of locomotives. So not all the clients had the cash to pay for locomotives up front. So I think it at the time it made sense for the OEM to add leasing as a product, but also for the inquiries from the clients to be able to meet their leasing demands or requests, plus to provide rolling stock for our own freight business in Zimbabwe. So it was a three-pronged requirement at the time, and that's why the business was originally started.
Clocking approximately 700,000 hours whilst delivering freight over an estimated distance of 8 million kilometers. So before you give me an outline of what that is, which route would you say is your busiest?
We've got two main routes. I think the first, obviously, Zimbabwe, with our own concession. That is a big client, internal client of myself. And then we do very well in Mozambique in terms of moving freight. So I would say that's our two biggest routes in terms of freight. So we own and manage a fleet in excess of 70 locomotives. So the GPR fleet plus Grindrod locomotive fleet. And then obviously we own and lease wagon fleet. So yeah, if you add up all those assets over the 5 years, it actually adds up. So we're very proud of. So we will definitely celebrate when we meet the 1 million hour mark.
Fantastic! I look forward to being at that party. The actual leasing model.
Yeah.
Why it works so well? I mean, you illustrated, that clients don't always have the cash to buy the asset up front. But is the leasing model as significant here in Africa as it would be perhaps in Europe and America?
So in America and Europe, obviously the quantities is in a different league. But yes, it's real in Africa. I think the key is you must have the right asset type. So mainline locomotives, where the drivers and the client are got comfort in. So that's the start. It's the type of locomotive that you have in your fleet. That's very important. Secondly, you must have a locomotive that can pull the freight economically. So it becomes quite complex. I won't get into the details, but you must consider the track, the type of freight, the distance, etc., etc.
How do you manage the your asset versus the track? Because in some instances the track is not always in great shape.
Yeah, so it's key that you constantly monitor the track condition and advise the client in terms of if there are sections that they need to repair. The key of a locomotive is to run at a consistent speed across. It's not a speed train. So consistency, no interruptions, that's the key for railways to run profitably. So the right type of assets, that's where it starts. Secondly, must have economical lease rates. So the client must be able to pay for the rolling stock leased to them, and they must be able to make money on top of those rates. The third aspect that's key is that the locomotives and the wagons is consistent. So the norm is 90%, the expectation that you're able to, that your fleet runs consistently at above 90%. So that is linked to your skills then of your locomotive fleet, parts, that you are consistently able to deliver the parts. So initially we did only the locomotive itself, but we've seen that it's important that you must be able to maintain the locomotives yourself as well. So yes, some of our clients just lease the locomotive, and some of our clients actually we do the full service, the locomotive, the parts and the maintenance.
You're operating Cape gauge and 1 meter gauge?
That's our main focus, yes. So sub-Saharan Africa, we would say up to the equator. Northbound Africa, we tend to see that's getting better serviced on the 1435 from Europe, India, etc., where 1435 gauge is standard for them. It's quite easy to convert your locomotive fleet between Cape gauge and 1 meter gauge.
Okay.
It's 65 centimeters, so we're able to convert our existing fleet of locomotives within that standard gauge difference.
In your information notes that you sent me, you say Africa can be an intimidating environment. Do you want to elaborate more on that?
Sure. I mean, 5 years ago, you've got this vision and this dream. The reality is a locomotive is a very expensive commodity, a very expensive asset. Each country's got their own VAT, import, export requirements. So you deal with central banks, you deal with export agencies, you deal with clearance of your asset to be moved safely across all different legislators and countries. So it is, it was a rude awakening in the beginning, where so yes, you better need to understand your market, your assets, and you better need to adhere to the safety rules of each country. But if you do that and you are able to, so yes, 5 years later, it's not as intimidating as I originally thought.
Alright, so the next 5 years.
The next 5 years for us is we will definitely look at increased locomotive fleet still. So we will look at client demands. So there's a lot of opportunities we do foresee to expand our locomotive fleet, our mainline locomotive fleet, and also look at shunting locomotive fleet. But we see a big requirement for wagons, the shortage of wagons on the corridors, the various corridors. So linked to our own rail concession we own, as well as other corridors, we will definitely look at expanding our wagon fleet on a lease model, which we think will work.
Planning on buying any more locomotives?
Yeah, it's all demand driven. So first of all, we need to focus getting all our locomotives deployed, and then yes, definitely if we demand outstrips our supply, it's definitely part of our core focus.
GPR leasing, are you part of the Luxembourg protocol?
Yes, we are. Both South Africa and Mauritius is part of the protocol, because we've seen the benefit you're getting from tracing your assets, improved funding that you receive from your funders. So yeah, Luxembourg is a well-proven concept internationally, and yes, we are a proud member of Luxembourg protocol.
Right. So one of the things I just wanted to ask you, and these are your thoughts, it's not necessarily your endorsement in terms of the company, but how we talk about moving more freight from road to rail. And we talk about improving the volume of freight on rail. Where is this volume coming from?
Obviously, with Grindrod as a company focused on freight, that is our core business. So it's in our interest to pursue clients that we believe's got freight that is economical to move via rail from their siding, wherever in Africa, across various railways, ultimately to a port, ultimately on a ship, hopefully all hours, but no, and then ultimately to your client, whether in India, China or America. So, and I think that's why the rail leasing model for us works so well in conjunction with Grindrod, because we look at the freight, we then work with those clients because we've got the ability not only to do, so rolling stock is just the enabler, the rolling stock leasing. So we've got the ability to assist the clients to do the export and the import through a company we own 100%, then either moving it by road for certain sections. We've got intermodal businesses. We've owned a part of railway concession, so we're part of the Southern Africa Railway Network. Then we partly own some ports, which gives economies to those ports, and then we own ships. So yes, it is in our interest and our core business to focus on freight and then target that freight to economically move across railways, which we believe is a lot more economical than obviously road, and hence the road to rail strategy for products that make sense. And GPR then benefits from this beneficiation by providing locomotives and wagons where there's a shortage across the network. And the benefit of that is the first and last mile is taken care of as part of moving the freight across that corridor.